I can't tell what's scarier, the existence of the special, or the fact that I got a Halloween special out on time this year. Blah blah, The Bad Guys is one of the greatest films of the 21st century, blah blah, gripping narrative with unique animation, fire score, and a multi-dimensional cast of characters, blah blah, I want Mr. Piranha to fart in my face. But in all seriousness, I really love this movie. It has practically become a staple of my channel since its release. Do you know that guy on Twitter who will not shut up about Transformers 1, and for good reason? It is an amazing film and you should see it if you haven't already. Yeah, I'm pretty much him, but for the bad guys. Right as the film's credits rolled, I could not wait to see what came next from what seemed to be DreamWorks' next hit franchise. And while it wasn't exactly what I wanted, DreamWorks would give me the next best thing for Christmas of 2023. This Christmas gift better come with a receipt. The Bad Guys, A Very Bad Holiday was indeed a holiday special. Look, it was clearly a rush job based on its subpar animation, its lack of the original voice cast, and its generic story, but I would be lying if I said it wasn't nice to see my favorite ragtag criminals again. Apparently this was meant to be a pilot for a Bad Guys TV series. However, with DreamWorks' television division no longer existing, as according to Stephanie Stein's interview for Kung Fu Panda 4, I doubt that this show will ever see the light of day, which I believe is for the best. Now that we have a confirmed sequel for 2025, I feel that DreamWorks should simply focus on the core of the franchise instead of potentially diluting the brand with cheap, disposable content. What the thorax? Oh boy, The Bad Guys A Haunted Heist, as if DreamWorks hasn't disappointed their fans enough this year. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the movie, and even I couldn't have cared less for the special. If I was really that desperate for more Bad Guys material before the sequel, I know just the place to look. On the other hand, my video covering The Very Bad Holiday did garner a few thousand views, so if DreamWorks can squirt out meaningless content for the sake of a few eyeballs on the screen, why can't I? So, on the morning of the special's release, I hit play on Netflix and... Wait, the special is actually okay? You're watching the LionDog show, and I'm watching The Bad Guys A Haunted Heist. Our special begins with Mr. Wolf doing his best impression of a lost media YouTuber while detailing the other bad guys on the history of the deceased crook, Reginald E. Scary. What was Reginald B. Scary too on the nose? Wolf discloses how Reggie E. Creeper kept his priceless amulet within his abandoned manor and tries to convince the group to steal it. The rest of them, however, aren't budging on this plot on account of Wolf always pranking them during every Halloween heist. But they eventually agree to it since fool me 4 times the shame goes back to you somehow, I don't know. The team arrives at the mansion, and after making it through all of Reginald Entertainment Cheese's traps, the bad guys successfully snatch the amulet, make their way to the car, and Wolf breaks them yet again because who needs integrity when you got funny haha? Unsurprisingly, the others are not very happy about this, and their unhappiness towards Wolf continues into the following day.
I thought even bad guys kept their promises.
That line gives off so much a good pirate never takes another person's property energy. Something that also continues into the following day is the piano music from Reggie Fils Scary's mansion playing in Wolf's mind, causing him to have a mental breakdown that leads to Mr. Snake filing for divorce and taking the kids with him. In the middle of the night, Piranha disappears with a single feather in his place. This causes the remaining teammates to return to the mansion to return the amulet in exchange for their friend back. Unfortunately, Piranha's already been turned into a ghost and goes on to turn all except Wolf into one as well, leading to Mr. Wolf offering his life in place of his friends to Reggie Gigas only for him to say,
"Got you. LOL.
He's trying too hard to relate to the kids. He is scary! Surprise! This was all a prank to get back at Wolf. With it being confirmed that Reginald E. ran out of funny names as ghost isn't real, Wolf puts on the amulet only for it to kill him, serving as a poignant, cautionary tale of never putting something around your neck that belonged to a dead bird. The more who learn this lesson, the better. Until it's revealed that Wolf knew they were pranking him all along and pranked him back using Webb's tech against him. Upon finding this out, the bad guys begin to skin Wolf alive. Not sure the punishment fits the crime, but go ahead. And so ends yet another subpar bad guys holiday outing. One that rose above its Christmas predecessor and also sank below it. I'll skip discussing the animation and voice acting as it's identical to A Very Bad Holiday. If you want to hear my opinions on both of those aspects, just watch my review of that special. One improved trait that stood out to me was the humor. Unlike the Christmas special where most of the jokes made me laugh for how unfunny they were,
You? I mean, you?
this special actually had jokes that were almost hilarious. There were still some of those good thing bad, bad thing good jokes from the first one that I found cliche, but these were at least a bit more clever and some even got an audible laugh out of me. However, my favorite joke would be the one involving the dentist. I love jokes that poke fun at things you never notice until someone mentions it. Unfortunately, that joke and some others were almost ruined with them being dragged out for a few lines more than they needed to be. Feels like they were doing it purely to pad out the special's runtime. But I'll take these stretched out jokes over Piranha's farts any day. They're back! And unlike the movie, they serve no purpose. Why are they here? And why is this the promotional image for the special on Netflix? Who looked at this and said, oh, there's a farting fish in this movie? I knew paying $20 a month for Netflix was a good idea. Listen, Mr. Piranha is my least favorite character in the Bad Guys book series, and this is the same series where Professor Marmalade is an alien with butts for hands. But even he had better running gags than just his farts, like him hating being called a sardine or being from Bolivia. Use any of those running gags. Stop reducing Piranha to nothing more than the gross one. He deserves better. Speaking of reducing characters, a lot of the Bad Guys members felt kind of there. While I complain about the Christmas special's plot being unoriginal, I did appreciate how it gave the members a chance to show off their skills and personalities. We see Piranha singing, we see Webbs' outrageous inventions, we see Shark being a theater kid, and we see Snake swallow stuff, I guess. Here, we see Webbs create a few inventions and do a cute little dance. Someone make a gif of this. Also, we see Shark wear a mustache. Yeah, that's about it. I put up with the mediocrity of A Very Bad Holiday because at least it gave me more of the characters that I loved from the movie. Meanwhile, this special gives me less, and the plot of this special is the cause of that. The story is one of the most mixed aspects of this special. At the forefront, it's at least somewhat unique. Visiting a possibly haunted house isn't the most original Halloween plot, but at least it isn't just the basis of the film watered down and covered in Christmas wrapping. That just goes to show how low my standards are for these specials. A slightly original plot is glowing praise from me. I also like that they expanded the Bad Guys mythos a tad with the introduction of Reginald E. Scary, even though his name blows hard. They could have easily just phoned it in by taking the generic human model and altering it slightly in Meme Maker to create a one-off character, but they went through the effort of designing an original model, thus giving the DreamWorks Bad Guys franchise its first avian character. Sorry, Agent Doom. We also briefly see this goat street gang that Piranha fights. I assume they were meant to be recurring characters from the show, so it's nice that they get to live on in some form. I get that furries are meant to be the minority in this world, but it's nice to spice up this world with more animal characters. Once again, showing how low my standards are for these specials. I'm praising them for designing unique characters. Kung Fu Panda 4 may have ruined my childhood and peed on my lawn, but at least they expanded the KFP lore through the introduction of the bunny children. Moving on, I like the secondary twist of Wolf being aware of the other members' plot and applying another prank in response to it. That feels very in character to him from the film. Also, it just makes sense with all of the holes in the other's prank. First of all, with Wolf's frantic searching of the entire hideout, he was bound to come across one of those miniature speakers. Second, I'm pretty sure you would feel the virtual reality glasses on his nose. Lastly, how could Scary leave behind a feather if he's purely a spirit? Even if Wolf didn't know of their plan ahead of time, he still would have been able to see right through it. Outside of those positives, this is a very bland plot. Once again, the plot centers around Wolf, and while it doesn't copy the exact beats of the movie, it's still yet another plot where the team turns on Wolf. Look, it's perfectly fine to focus on your central character, but it just feels like wasted potential not using these specials to highlight the side characters who normally won't receive much development in the films. If you want an example of what I wish these Bad Guy specials were like, check out the Toy Story holiday specials that not only have unique storylines, but they also use said plots to flesh out some of the side characters who fade into the background in the movies. Instead of making a Halloween special that focuses on a character who will receive development either way, why not create a special that focuses on Shark entering a costume contest where we learn why and how he became a master of disguise? Or make a web-centric special where the team deals with ghosts and where she needs to learn that there are some forces in the world that cannot be explained or controlled by technology. Speaking of ghosts, I think that Reginald's ghost should have been real in this special. Without him, this is really no different to your usual Halloween special where all the characters try to prank each other. It doesn't help that the Bad Guys heist aspect is incredibly weak in the special. Why do they act like stealing from this mansion is such a big deal? I've seen harder Zelda dungeons than this. It's not like the paranormal is entirely out of place for this series. They've already established meteorites that control guinea pigs into hijacking trucks, so the existence of ghosts isn't out of place. I personally don't mind and even support the push for more low sci-fi and fantasy elements in this series. We have plenty of heist movies that are grounded in reality, so why not have an animated heist franchise that uses the genre's tropes in more high-concept ways? With that being said, I don't want them to go too far, although it ended up like the book series where we went from freeing dogs to the dog pound, to hopping dimensions to stop an entity of chaos from taking over the multiverse by manipulating Mr. Snake into using his infinite superpowers to open the multiverse. No, I am not joking, that is the plot of the book series from book 11 onward. If I had to salvage the plot in any way, I would start by making the heist more important. To do this, I would make Reginald E. Scary a local historical figure who is secretly a famous thief. Because of this, his mansion is a famous landmark that's under a lot more security, making stealing the amulet a lot more of a challenge. While the rest of the team is scared of finding Reginald's ghost, Webbs is constantly pestering them about how ghosts don't exist. Once they steal the amulet, however, the team is confronted by Reginald's ghost when they return to their hideout. This, of course, sends Webbs into an absolute frenzy since, unlike technology, ghosts can't be easily contained or controlled. Instead of possessing them or dragging them off to the afterlife, Reginald merely crashes their pad and annoys them until they eventually snap and agree to return the amulet. A feat easier said than done now that the police are swarming the manor investigating the theft. Webbs then comes up with the idea of using the eeriness of the mansion to their advantage, and with the help of Reginald, the group successfully threatened the officers, distracting them long enough to return the amulet. If you want to go a step further, you could also have Chief Luggins be one of the cops investigating the theft, maybe even have this be the inciting incident that cemented her rivalry with the bad guys. The special can then end with Webbs accepting that there are some forces in his life that she can't control, and the bad guys getting used to how quiet the hideout is without an obnoxious bird ghost flying around. The end. With this, we have not only a more original story, but a chance to explore a character who didn't receive that much attention in the original film. Back to the Halloween special that we actually got, if I had to praise anything about it, it's that it made me wish that we did get a Bad Guys TV series. I like the idea of introducing other thieves and criminals outside of the original team that the bad guys either loathe or admire, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did get character spotlight episodes. Unfortunately, the idea is simply too little too late. Bad Guys 2 is right around the corner, and with it the introduction of a thieving equivalent of the International League of Heroes from the book series. Also, it is still possible for us to learn more about the individual members of the team outside of Wolf through the sequels. Let's just hope they don't gradually fade away into obscurity like the Furious 5. We are getting a Donkey movie before a Furious 5 movie! What is wrong with Hollywood? Overall, for a special that I had no excitement for whatsoever, it turned out to be better than I thought it would be. With that being said, I still believe we have yet to see the full potential of supplemental Bad Guys material. I could see myself throwing this on every October. I'm not nearly as big of a Halloween fan as I am a Christmas one, so I don't have a laundry list of movies and specials to watch over the month of October. I usually get by with Nightmare Before Christmas, Great Pumpkin, and maybe Garfield or Coraline if I'm feeling frisky. So fitting in a decent special based on one of my favorite movies should be no problem. If you could stomach the Christmas special, you should get a kick out of this one. Just don't go in expecting anything special, ironically enough. DreamWorks, be lucky you decided to release The Wild Robot this year. If not, 2024 might have gone down in history as one of your worst years. You've been watching The LionDog Show. Have a great day, and stick around for more.